now? Yeah. All right. Hello, hello. We right to go? And good evening. Welcome.
Let's go. Let's go! Welcome to round 24 of the Men's National Premier League Victoria competition, where it is simply down to this. The Melbourne Knights welcome Hume City to Tomset Stadium, where the objective is simple. The Knights must attain all 3 points on offer here tonight, or for the first time in their 72-year history, will fall to automatic relegation. For the visitors, 3 points in their favour keeps their finals objective pulsing as the season begins to draw into its final series. Adam Palombi and Cade Lucas on tonight's call from the commentary position. Cade, it's heart-pulsating football we're about to witness here, I'm sure.
Thank you, Adam. Well, there's already been some palpitations there for Knights as their keeper Matty had to come out and defuse the situation. Godfrey DeBelle getting in behind. He scored last week for Hume City and he was sniffing around the goals there. The number 9 for the visitors, who are clad in white tonight. Melbourne Knights in red. We'll go through the lineups very quickly. Matai in goal for Melbourne Knights, and from the back it's Carrigan, Karlovic, Inia Werndl, the captain, Philip Jajewski, Joseph Ledieri, Kieran Bramwell, Stephen Lawless, Fraser Dunlop, Tommy Semi. Whilst for Hume City, Damon Camilleri keeps his spot in the lineup ahead of Michael Weir. And then there's Zahi Adis, Mason Tatafu, Aaron Reardon in midfield, Lloyd Isgrove, who scored last week, Godfrey DeVille, the aforementioned Godfrey DeVille, Josh Bingham up top as usual, is the captain, Mark Odcheng, Harry Ashcroft. Josh O'Kane comes into the starting lineup after Burkhan Kurdar was suspended due to another yellow card last week, and Robert Harker, who scored twice against Port Melbourne. So they're the starting lineups tonight. Jack Morgan, the referee. Melbourne Knights, as Adam mentioned, needing to win to remain any chance of staying up. It looks a pretty forlorn hope now. They need to be perfect and they need to rely on the teams above them being the exact opposite. They've only won 4 times all season and they've got to win the next 3. And Marian Sivkovic is the new coach. They've, of course, moved on from John Markovsky during the week. They've had nearly as many coaches as they've had wins this season, Melbourne Knights. That's not a statistic you ever want. As the home side come down the grandstand side there, it's Thomas Werndl, the captain, getting forward and winning a free kick for his team in these opening minutes. In fact, it's going to be a throw. And not quite the free kick. Werndl sends it in. It's dealt with there by Ashcroft. Now DeBelle comes away for Hume City and he's felled.
Well, the official has been busy early, right from the kickoff. There's been some complaints to deal with, but you feel the tension really pouring from the playing surface this evening. It's uncharted territory for a club that started the season so well. And while the next 90 minutes, of course, all important, they have to rely, the Knights, on those around them to fall also. Although not mathematically out the equation yet, the chalk just starting to be written on the whiteboard. As O'Kane moves it wide. Ashcroft celebrated game 100 against that of the Melbourne Knights. And these two sides met the last time out. It was a 1-1 draw out at Hume City. As Werndl goes no nonsense and will clear. Kieran Bramwell likes his fixture. Scored in it last season. Might have just done much of the same in this campaign. And well, they've had a fair change of personnel, have the Knights. Although Tommy Semi does return to the club. He's experiencing some football in VPL 1 and VPL 2. Coming from Geelong. As Isgrove dispatches towards Matti. No deflection on the shot. It's a goal kick for the Knights. You had a better scope than I might have in recent weeks, Cade, but in terms of the visitors, they've been in fine form as finals is nearing.
Well, they were in fine form last week. Previous to that, they weren't. They lost their previous 4 under Nick Hegarty, but they got back on the winners list last time out, and in good style as well, putting away Port Melbourne by 4-1. Another team who are stuck in the relegation zone, and they'll be looking to do the same here to Melbourne Knights, who are bottom of the pile. Not much to report here in the opening 5 minutes or so at Tomset. Cade Lucas and Adam Palumbi with you. Hope you're enjoying the coverage on YouTube. Plenty of other games this evening as well. Talked about Melbourne Knights and their desperate plight at the bottom, but there's plenty riding on this for Hume as well. They want to make the finals. They're currently in 6th spot.
Now, calculations might not be entirely correct, as a draw can still mathematically keep the Knights going after tonight. So, although the cast not being exactly too dire, they will need something, to put it simply, Cade. The side in red. And while they have something early considering, one of their players on the interchange bench is looking rather worse for wear. He's being attended to by that of his assistant coach, as Bramwell gingerly just walks off. Might not have really been too sure what had happened there. It was a very brief test to see if he was okay, but he's strolling back onto the playing surface. Meanwhile, overlapping from left back, Addis trying to shift it on towards his right foot and has manufactured a free kick. You can see Ashcroft and Tatafu just lurking inside the box. Addis won the free kick. He's now wanting to take it. The captain, Josh Bingham, awaits also inside the box, as does Harker. Debele lurking. Isgrove the short option, who's on his own right now. Addis's cross comes in. Open space for Hume. And Ashcroft, of all people, had the hit. It hit the post. Meanwhile, Isgrove shifted direction and had the ball just skim across the face of Marty's goal. So a prominent start for the visitors, much to the contrary of the hosts.
Hume City rattling the upright. It's as close as either side have come through 7.5 minutes. Unsurprisingly, it's not a huge crowd here this evening at Tomset. A hugely disappointing season, of course, for Melbourne Knights. It's also pretty cold, as the defender there got his foot very high, leading to some pretty loud protests from the Knights players, and they do get a free kick, and they can go on the front foot here. Bramwell looked as though he was going to take it, but Werndl has pulled rank, the skipper tonight. Here's Karlovic. Now Carrigan will go long down the channel. Tommy Semi the target. One of a number of players that John Markovski brought back to the club. Tommy Semi, Philip Jajewski, another one. Here is Jajewski. Karlovic. Hume happy to sit off just for the moment. As Knights go forward, and bursting through the middle here is Bramwell, and Bramwell crashes into the back of Tatafu. Cries of protest from the Melbourne Knights bench as Kieran Bramwell almost barged his way through and then went down, but nothing doing according to the referee. Some signs of life here for Melbourne Knights, who, as we mentioned, won't officially be down if they fail to win tonight, but they would be, for all intents and purposes, consigned to the drop. It would take the most outrageous of miracles, but I suppose while there is mathematical hope, there is a chance. That's what they've got to cling to, the men in red. Bit of aerial ping-pong in the middle of the field. Tatafu heads it back. Bingham. Good work in midfield here by Lawless, the Irishman, and then he just loses a handle and then is clattered into, and that's a yellow card. Stephen Lawless got his head up, but as soon as he did that, he just got his feet in a tangle, went over, and then got clattered.
The Irishman showcasing courage. He was determined to rampage forward. And in doing so, has proved an early bright spark for the Knights, who sense this to be an opportunity which could be theirs if they get it done properly. Werndl crosses in. Carrigan the target. Lawless on the edge of the area. Isgrove happy to clear as far as DeBelle. Isolated to the attacker. Awaits the cavalry. Searches out wide. Keelart goes high and not very handsome. Marty barely had to move. Plants himself and claims the ball. You like seeing that from the Knights, though, with Lawless showcasing some courage early on. There's Werndl. Searched along. Wasn't able to find a teammate. Karlovic this time. Bramwell. There with Tatafu. O'Kane had possession momentarily. Addis has had a bright start. Harker on for Bingham. DeBelle, Ocheng on the overlap. DeBelle inside the box there with Semi. Shot went away from DeBelle. Had some elevation, and Marty was not exactly certain of where that ball was going. Hit with some power, although it rises over the crossbar. So quite the end-to-end fiery start. Scoreboard finally getting its attention, although it might not read the right time on it. The novelties of NPL football. And it's really hard to believe how quick the season's gone, all considered. To think that the Knights would be on the path they're on now, considering the start they had here against Heidelberg, at the complete opposite end of the table. They face Avondale, of course, for the match of the round at the Calabria Club soon on the weekend. As Bingham, it's a nice ball for Harker, who's making a contest of it. Wasn't cleared, and now DeBelle. Carrigan had to make up for his mistake. And the number 2 for the Knights had done just so. Lawless trying to go over the top, but at the other end. Nearly a calamitous moment, but a rightful rectification made by that of Carrigan.
Always a tough ask being a defender in a team in the relegation zone, and that's been the lot of Ben Carrigan this season. Good work there from him to keep it at 0-0, which it is through almost 13 minutes here at Tomset Stadium. It's cool, no real breeze of any type. It's not as inclement as last Friday night, probably the coldest night of football of the season. I was at Hume City where they played Port Melbourne, and it was like playing a game in Antarctica. It's positively tropical by comparison tonight. But despite the fact there's plenty riding on this result for both teams, it's a game that's just sort of dropped in intensity a bit in the last few minutes. Game's hit a bit of a flat spot. We'll see if things pick up as the half wears on. Ball down the channel here. Tatafu's got to deal with it. The keeper's coming out, and Tatafu decides to go over the byline and concede a corner. The former Louisville Cardinal in American college sport, and more recently of the Des Moines Menace. Not exactly a renowned footballing hotbed, Des Moines, Iowa, but that's where Tatafu found himself playing before coming to Hume City, and he's got a corner to defend here. In from the near side. It's deep. Knights can't get on the end of it, and it's O'Kane who will get them out of jail, and they might go on the break here. DeBelle right across the field to Isgrove with a very arrogant touch. He has got all the tools in his locker, Lloyd Isgrove, and he just whipped one out to show there. Here's O'Kane. Back towards Isgrove, a more conventional trap. Up towards Harker, holding the ball up on the turn. Bingham there too. Knights managed to get it away. Here's Inia in midfield. Brushed off one Hume player, but not the second. He got a good old-fashioned push in the back there at Inia. And it's a free kick here for the home team. Still inside their own half. Quarter hour played. 0-0 between 14th placed Melbourne Knights and 6th placed Hume City.
Enjoyed the link-up play from City on that recent attack. They were with Bingham trying to unleash out of DeBelle. Ball just getting caught under his foot, but all considered, both sides have blinked early. Bramwell. Thierry's been positive. The number 55 is been popping up in areas. Had a nice flick on header for his number 9 striker of Bramwell earlier on in this contest. You somewhat sense that Camilleri and company in the defensive Hume City half are just wary of tonight. Desperation football as Lawless wanted to keep going, but in fact it's been whistled the other way. Ashcroft on towards Reardon. Tatafu. Ashcroft. Hume playing 3 centre-backs when they're on the ball. Isgrove likes to come inside and try and make things work. Ochieng and Addis deployed as wing-backs almost in this setup. Speak of the devil. Ochieng. Ashcroft for Tatafu. The Knights doing a good job of just sitting behind the ball as Hume looking to try and play that provocative pass. So Kane. Ashcroft at the centre of it right now, conducting. Tatafu. Isgrove. First time ball. Not going to favour Bingham. Shifting gears was Lloyd Isgrove, combining nicely with Bingham. Addison a wide area. His cross comes in. DeBelle lurking. Bingham, it's set up for him. Courageous defending from Wernzel. And now Semi wants to go on a journey. Thierry and Bramwell in support. Semi's found Bramwell with a diag. Bramwell for that of Semi. It was the Irishman of Lawless whose pass would just be too much for the flanker. But each time, Cade, the Knights do come forward. Semi has that real threat about him.
He's always had the ability to get his team up the pitch. Plenty of pace and power. And the Knights faithful got very excited there when he burst down the grandstand side. Nice build-up play this now. It's Lettieri, sends the ball across. Tatafu with a sliding challenge. Knights starting to go up a few gears here. This is better. And the small crowd who've come out are showing their appreciation. Werndl with the throw, level with the edge of the penalty area. Comes back to Werndl, who sends it in. Bramwell just a bit too high for him. Bingham back in defence, an uncharacteristic position for him. But this is a good little spell for Melbourne Knights. They had a horror run all season, of course, but particularly lately. Awful defeat last time out against Dandenong Thunder. It was 4-0, and by all accounts, it could well have been double that or more. They've gotten through 20 minutes of this game without conceding. And it's Hume who've conceded a foul here. He's offside. I'm reliably informed by Adam in the background. Just keeping an eye on the linesman. Teamwork here in the commentary box as well as out on the field, folks. Hope you're enjoying the coverage on YouTube. Here's Matty. Long clearance. Straight onto the forehead there of Adis, who just caresses it out of play. Down below us, and it's Fraser Dunlop who will take the throw. Very static Knights. There's not much on, so he has to go back to Karlovic. Switch it towards the grandstand side. Carrigan. And then he goes all the way back to Matty, or Matai rather, who's having a run as the first team keeper with Chris Oldfield departing. Oldfield had spent a fair bit of time on the Medicos bench this season with injury before departing the club. Krzyzewski is dispossessed in midfield. This could be a problem for Knights. Bingham's got it now. DeBelle. Feel a real surge of electricity when he gets the ball. DeBelle, and here's a shot from Reardon. But that was always going well wide.
Harker protesting. Might have been in a position to claim that it was deflected off a Knight's boot or body. Not to be the case as the official and the penultimate view. And while considering the run home for both sides, things start to get rather interesting in the last few weeks of football. Hume City return to the final time this season, and of course to their home stadium to take on Melbourne Victory, and will then see out the season with an away day at Churchill Reserve to take on that of St Albans Dynamo. The Knights, on the other hand, they enjoy their second last home game of the season here tonight. They will go to Dandy City. So a journey to Frank Holohan next week. They return here on the final day against that of the Altona Magic, who currently hold that spot outside the bottom three in 11th on 21 points. They're 6 points clear of Victory and Port Melbourne, and 7 points clear out of the Melbourne Knights. Intriguing times, especially if you're a football fan. And from the neutral perspective, all these games can impact both ends of the table, with Dandy City and Hume City firmly in the mix to finalise that of the teams entering the finals. Ochieng's throw. Reardon to Tafu. Reardon. The disc really causing problems. That of Fraser Dunlop defensively. Usually the attacker finds himself as a fullback as the cross comes in. Karlovic heads away. Semi, pressed by Ochieng. Using his physicality to try force the clearance, which arrives from Werndl. Lettieri, his eyes lit up, although his head hit the ball. And now Isgrove trying to change direction. Goes right towards the official. He's turned his back on the game as Isgrove. But he somehow finds possession back as he's having a chat with the official. Only Lord Isgrove thinks as on the far side of Dis. Sliding with courage was Inia. Protests still occurring here, and the official, I think, has had enough of the back chat. There's always a first time for everything in NPL football, Cade Lucas, but it's the first time I might have seen a player turn his back on the contest, talk to the official, have the ball fall to his feet, and then continue on like nothing happened.
Well, we mentioned before that he's got plenty of skills, Lloyd Isgrove. I didn't think they involved that. And he's getting a bit of a talking to now from Jack Morgan. We no doubt said any more of that and you'll go in the book. Throw here from Adis up towards Bingham, holding the defender off. His specialty, Josh Bingham, back to Adis. Lovely turn into the area now, and the shot deflected through, but Matty saw it coming. Lovely bit of skill there by Adis to pirouette out of trouble. Couldn't really get enough power behind the shot to really trouble the keeper. Still goalless through almost 25 minutes, which, given the results these two teams had last week, is a little surprising. Knights have been leaking goals. And Hume, at least last week, were scoring them, though they did go goalless in the couple of games before that. And Isgrove is going to be upset with the referee again as he gives another foul away. Wasn't much to argue with this time, though. Carrigan looking for Semi out on the grandstand side. Heading it away from him was Oching. Semi wins the ball back. Now Jachevsky in midfield. Semi back towards Jachevsky, two of the players who came in during John Markovsky's very short reign. Karlovic. Lovely touch there by Bramwell, who plays in Lawless. Opportunity here for Knights, but it disappears as soon as it arrived. Lawless just lost contact, and then the ball is hoofed away to the safety of the touchline for Hume City, who are doing a bit more defending than maybe they fancied here at the moment.
It's brilliant play from Bramwell. And Lawless found himself in a position to infiltrate. Just lost his footing at the pivotal moment, but all considered, been a very even contest. As Bramwell, dispossessed, Ochieng wins on that occasion. Bingham finds Isgrove. Big slide from Karlovic. Home fans not appreciating that. The advantage appeared to be played, although it was called back by the official, Morgan. Free kick was awarded to the visitors. In their own right have had quite the season. Riccardo Marchioli at one stage was their manager. Although that tenure hadn't worked, I'm sure how both parties would have envisioned. Hume can still find themselves playing finals football for the second consecutive season. Of course, it was Cameron Watson at the start of 2024, the now Dinamo manager, who was replaced by David Chick. It was that shock, start of the season event which transpired, and David Chick found himself at Green Gully, where they're still in their finals campaign running. Of course, 4 points off of City currently, 3 points away from Dandy City. But all these contests crucial. To Tafu. O'Kane Ashcroft, methodical in their build-up. City to Belay, started the run in behind it. It's a decent idea, which Werndl had overseen. And Marty was able, once again, to assert his authority inside his box. He's read the game well so far, the keeper. Sends it long, bounces off of Ashcroft's head. De Belay and Werndl come together. Semi confronted by Ochieng. Another individual battle to keep a firm eye on that far left flank. Semi lofts. Reardon was his direct opponent. He's pressed up high, Reardon. He's won the ball back. And he's strolling forward. He has Bingham on for the pass. Isgrove's out wide. Bingham will take it solo. The shot will deflect out for a corner. So now City's starting to build. Nearing half an hour of football. Addis will look to shape it in. All the players just congregating outside the 6-yard box. The movement sure to come once it's taken, although Addis crosses in. Bingham's header. Ricochets up into the sky. DeBelle try the acrobatic. Marty remained calculated and will send it long. Ochieng with a firm eye on it. It bounces. Bramwell could be latching onto it. Camilleri calling for calm. You almost believe that Ochieng had lost that up in the floodlights, Cade.
When all else fails, go route one. Almost worked there for Melbourne Knights. Could have been another uncomfortable moment for Damon Camilleri in the Hume City goal. He had a bit of a mistake last week that led to Port Melbourne's only goal. And that was a potentially a difficult moment for him, but he held up well. And it is still 0-0 as we cross the half-hour mark between Hume and Melbourne Knights. The visitors in white. Deep in the home team's half here, and it's Isgrove who's got a pocket of space. That's a problem. Addis trying to caress the ball into the area. It was intercepted, and then referee Jack Morgan found a free kick anyway. All things considered, they'd be pretty pleased with how this has played out so far, Melbourne Knights. First game under Marian Sivkovic. They really need to win their last 3 games, but technically they could still survive if they get a draw. Though the team that they and the other sides in the relegation zone need to catch, Altona Magic. They're about to kick off a bit later on against Oakley Cannons at Jack Edwards. And Port Melbourne, another side in the relegation zone, they play Dandenong City at JL Murphy. Both those games kicking off in about 15 minutes. At about when the players here will go in for half-time. Ochieng with the throw after winning a foul. Hume City in 6th, 4 points behind Preston. And they've got Dandy City only a point behind them, so they'll be keeping a close eye on events at Port Melbourne too. Long ball forward. Easy pickings there for Matai. Here's Karlovic, who looks further afield and doesn't see a whole lot. Semi. Now to Werndl in midfield, who's sent sprawling the skipper, but it falls towards Bramwell, who just got a bit overexcited and overcooked that toe poke forward. And it's cleaned up by Camilleri. Certainly can't miss him this evening in the fluoro yellow. And just as last week, he hasn't had a whole lot to do. A couple of reasonably close calls, but no real saves of note to make. Could be some saving to do at the other end here as Isgrove sends it forward. Harker struggled to get into the game so far, Robert Harker, though as he showed last week he doesn't need many opportunities. But here come Knights. This is a good run through Inia. Inia right through the middle of Tom Set Stadium, out towards Semi now. Turning defence into attack here, Knights. Semi to the byline, sends it across. Here's Bramwell. Claims of a handball. Hume City hook it away. The Knights fans are filthy. Players and fans are protesting at referee Jack Morgan, who says play on. Dembele. Harker. Well, that's the first real moment of controversy tonight, Adam. Certainly the Knights fans and players will say that should have been a penalty, but I suppose they would say that, wouldn't they?
They might have reason. And, well, it all happened in a flurry. We don't have the luxury of a replay, but all considered. Bramwell had all the composure inside the box. His shot was poised for the left corner. It would have hit the side of the net. It was definitely goal bound. And Ashcroft provided the block. How, we're not too sure. But we know that moment was certainly rife with controversy. So all the players compact towards broadcast side. The Knights really starting to, brick by brick, mount themselves into this game. And almost have an argument to score the first goal. Zadis cuts off the pass for Lettieri. And we'll get the foul. Lawless, the intruder. Nothing short of entertaining what we've seen so far. It's really about who strikes the first blow. Ashcroft for Bingham. Captain searching. Going more direct to Bellet was the idea. Werndl clears out of play and some catching practice for out of the understudy goalkeeper. Chiang will now have the chance to get the throw underway. Ashcroft for Reardon. Addis shifting centrally. The Knights tucking in for the meantime. Chiang. Ashcroft. O'Kane wants to go on his own. Finds Reardon. Play will resume. Shifted wide. Addis. Stepping inside. Making a nice run of this was Addis. Deflecting ball. Karlovic, no nonsense, had to clear. Intrusive was the fullback. Unleashed his inner attacking flair. That time of asking. Twisting and turning away. Marty just saw the ball ricochet in front of him. Clearance was necessary for the Knights. Right now, just tucking in. Harker. O'Kane. Reardon. Cut off nicely by that Avinia, who controls with a deft touch. Tries to go around Addis. He's not happy with the official. Addis back forward to Tafu. Reardon. Addis. Reardon once more. Ball really in dispute, just sliding. And was desperate, really, wasn't he, Yevsevsky? He is awarded the foul. So the Knights can regain some composure. They'll have possession following the free kick. I wonder if the players know what time of the match it is, considering on the scoreboard, which isn't visible, it's reading 27 minutes played, although we're nearing that of the 40th minute. Might cause for some confusion on the playing surface soon enough, I'm sure, but until now, the Knights had possession back and have given it back to Hume City, as Camilleri will have a goal kick.
Damien Camilleri whacks his studs against the upright with his goal kick ritual. Gets ready to get us back under play as we tick up towards the 40-minute mark. Just over 5 minutes to go towards half-time. Still 0-0. Knights will be happy to at least still be in the game. They were well and truly out of it at this point of last week's contest. Boost morale a bit, but they need to do better than just 0-0s. They're struggling for points, but their goal difference is minus 34. So they need to not only win some games, but whack in some goals too. It's Hume City who are going in search of goals here, though. It's Isgrove. And he knocks it off the shins of his opponent, Lettieri. And it's out for a throw. It's a Dis who will take it. Up against the corner flag at the club room's end here. Lettieri intercepts it. Comes back to a Dis. And that crosses to no one in particular. Tatafu send it straight up and down the chimney. Here's O'Kane. Reardon. Bingham. Now to Ocheng, the veteran, coming forward. Can they make something happen here? It's Harker. Harker towards goal. It was part cross, part shot. And when that's the case, you usually don't get much of a result. And that's the case there for Hume City, who'd be a little bit frustrated with this first half. We mentioned that Knights would be pretty pleased with how things have played out, but Hume City with Dandy City and Green Gully behind them, Preston ahead. They'd be banking on getting 3 points here tonight against Melbourne Knights and probably going in with a lead at half-time. It doesn't look like they will at the moment. Camilleri just gets it away in time. Comes back towards Bramwell. And groans around Tomset Stadium as Kieran Bramwell just rolled that ball out of play. Not on the same wavelength, which has been a problem all through this season for Melbourne Knights.
Camilleri. Inia and Dunlop. Lettieri heads on. Inia making a contest of it. Tatafu. DeBelle wrestling with Werndl. Carrigan. Marty just urging that of Semi to go. The keeper might have sensed out of a quick break. More the patient variety now as Lawless is inside the box. The cutback will be blocked, and it's taken its final touch off of Lawless and out for a goal kick. "46 appearances in the NPL for the Irishman, formerly, of course, of the Altona Magic last season. Notably scored the winning goal at Petty's Reserve. It was 5-4 against Manningham United. That was coined as the game of the season by some. DeBelle crossing in. Marty reading finally, and will roll quickly on for Dunlop. Goes down the line for Inia, who's got the afterburners to latch onto the pass. Camilleri will cut off the ball, poised for Bramwell. It was quicker. Can't fault them for that. They're looking to go direct and looking to do it in speed. Ashcroft. Ochieng was trying to make a forward run. O'Kane filling the gap. Reardon lofting forward to Ballet, causing headaches for Werndl. Semi on defensive. Will hack it long. Addis will control, but Lettieri will come away with the ball. Govsevsky. Diag pass from that of Karlovic in search of Semi, but the attack won't be utilised. Considering there hasn't been too many stoppages, you wouldn't think of too much additional time at the end of regulation. Is there any late twists before we enter the first series of team talks? As over the top, Inia crosses in, not dealt with until Addis got a foot onto it. Will Hume quickly transition? Ochieng. O'Kane wants to go. Lawless impedes O'Kane. Ashcroft taken quickly for Reardon. Board to go up soon. O'Kane. Ashcroft. Poised for Bingham. Karlovic heads away. Lettieri, Bramwell strolling in behind. That's where the ball's going to go towards. Bramwell to Tafu. It's a 1 against 2 here for the Knights. Semi inside the box. Ashcroft does just enough. Still no real signal on additional time, but well, it's because there won't be much or any of it. So the sides enter the tunnels the same way they came out of them 45 minutes ago. The Knights and Hume City scoreless in the opening half. Wasn't without its moments, both sides having chances on goal. Yet the deadlock not been broken yet. Adam Plomby and Cade Lucas. Just before we cross into half-time, Cade, what do you make of what we saw?
Well, Knights have scrapped pretty well. It's a damn improvement on their effort last week when they were 4-0 down at this time.
Let's go!
Yeah, it's still a very long way back for them, but today is a start. There's many.
Let's go.
By the slimmest of margins, Hume City, well, they'd be a bit disappointed to not be in front at this stage. They are currently hanging on to a spot in the finals, but only just hanging on. The team directly behind them, Dandenong City, about to kick off against Altona Magic. As we get underway here in this second half, Matty gets his hands around the ball for Melbourne Knights. Knights going towards the left of your screen in this second half. They're in the red with the white shorts. Hume in the white with the red. And an early foul here. Inia, who's been quite impressive for Melbourne Knights, goes down. And referee Jack Morgan blows a free kick. Hume work it out to the grandstand side. Long ball down the channel. Robert Harker is the target, and the ball bounces nicely for him, but the flag goes up. A pretty quiet evening so far. Harker, who's their top scorer for the season with 7 goals. Scored a brace last time out against Port Melbourne, but he'd be lucky to have 2 kicks tonight, let alone 2 goals. That's the lot of being a target man up top, Adam.
Well, considering he's really filled that void which was left by Mikael Platt since his arrival at Hume City. Hasn't had the worst campaign. Hasn't had too much influence tonight, but the Knights have defensively so far not put a foot wrong. As Bramwell's been very busy on the far side. The official had best view and awards it to be that of a Hume City throw. It was Zahi Addis in the first half. It was electric, really. In fact, mind you, not a throw, but an offside was called for the man with orange boots. Now on the grandstand side, the number 3 for Hume City, really enjoyed his game early. Progressing as a fullback and taking some territory upon that wide area. As Bramwell can slip it in behind, there is Addis. Cometh the man, cometh his moment. He's done well there to prevent that ball behind. Paul Lettieri is causing issue for Tatafu. A tussle right near the corner flag, although the ball hadn't gone out of play, but the foul was awarded. So, intriguing start. Scoreboard has been rectified. It was an issue, of course, Kate, in the first half, but so far both sides just starting the way they did from the off, feeling each other out. Isgrove now into some space. Steps inside Isgrove, his cross blocked. Sure, at some stage tonight he'll have something to say. He's been really talkative to the official. I'm sure he'll have something tangible thrown at the hosts. Tatafu's cross, Bingham off his chest. Lawless couldn't carry the ball forward. Bingham, Dembele, that's a free kick. Dembele clutches at his right leg. It's a very promising position. The set piece we're about to see, and Lloyd Isgrove's made a beeline for the ball. He's certainly within striking distance. Marty getting busy and organising the wall. Carrigan, Werndl, Lawless all stand before this free kick as Isgrove's having a conversation with Harker. Both preferring their right foot. So a pivotal moment in this match. It'll be Harker to strike it, not around the wall. Hume not able to get the free kick up and over, but still have a throw-in.
Ben Carrigan managed to get his body in the way there. It was almost a very unfortunate hit to the body on that occasion for Carrigan. He managed to avoid the most sensitive part of the anatomy, but it wasn't far away. Certainly hit very well by Robert Harker. Here's Isgrove drifting inboard. Hume trying to go through the gears here, looking for an opening goal early in the second half. Cade Lucas and Adam Palombi with you on YouTube. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. As the visitors go in search of a breakthrough, Bingham is there, but he steers the header well wide. That's normally his bread and butter, Josh Bingham. Only the one goal this season. He scores plenty, or at least did in the past, and he still does plenty with his hold-up play, but he has not been prolific. Of course, when you got guys like Isgrove and Robert Harker alongside you, the goal-scoring burden is not as great on Josh Bingham as it used to be. As that clearance by Matai goes straight into the technical area, where, as far as we know, there's been no movement either at half-time or since half-time. No substitutes as yet. The longer this remains a stalemate, the more likely it is that there will be some movement soon. Hume on the front foot here, though. Reardon. Oh, and it comes in from the near side. DeBelle's there. He keeps a hold of it, takes it to the byline. Fraser Dunlop back there in defence. Isgrove. Lettieri, the youngster, sees him out of play. But it is another throw for Hume City, who are really turning the screw in the early minutes of this second 45. Tatafu up towards DeBelle. Lawless back in defence. Now to Werndl and Tommy Semi. And Tommy Semi, as he has done a few times tonight, trying to drag his team up the pitch. He can't quite do so here. And in fact, Hume have won it back. And they've got some space. Reardon sets away Harker. Harker straight at the keeper. Matty saw it all the way. But Tommy Semi thought he was off to the races, but lost the ball, and it very nearly cost his team there.
So he likes to play, does Semi. As Inia tussling with Ashcroft. He's certainly had a bit to do tonight. As the Knights number 17, he's grown in frustration. The two have a tiff off the ball. Meanwhile, Isgrove. Cut back for Bingham. Lawless puts his foot in and snuffs out the danger. Jovsevski. Inia has Semi on for the pass. Inia went for broke instead. And now that of Jack Morgan, just going to have a chat with both these two who are causing some trouble between each other. So the official turned classroom teacher for the meantime. Conversation was necessary, and that will be that for now. But considering the numbers in which Inia had left and right, he opted to try a catch, that of Camilleri off his line. And in real fairness, it wasn't exactly as if Men in Yellow was too far out. Meanwhile, Inia gifted the ball back. Now Semi trying to get in behind Avochieng. Awaiting the cavalry. Semi might go solo. Manufactures a corner. The Knights now in voice. Tantalising has Tommy Semi been so far in this game. He's menacing. Upon holding the ball up, he went himself and drew a corner. Is this the moment for the hosts? Cross comes in. Sat up momentarily. Lawless. Cheered to shoot almost. Karlovic crosses in with real shape. Bramwell was there. DeBelle couldn't hack the clearance. They'll recycle. Werndl tries a diag. Bramwell flicks it on. Carrigan trying to latch on, although Camilleri uses his box and will send it very high and long for Isgrove. Bouncing ball might favour him. Werndl cuts out the danger, although it's not been dealt with yet. If Sevsky does enough, Dunlop for Werndl. You have Sevsky with some composure. Launches it long. Hinia trying to latch on him behind. A flick on for Bramwell. This contest to really open at the minute. Azados gets cleaned up. Werndl perhaps knew he was late. In fact, mind you, that wasn't Werndl. In the book goes the Melbourne Knights player who, in fact, well, it's been the man who's been spoken to a fair bit, Cade, that of Inia, number 17, into the book.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if Marian Sivkovic sends Inia for a shower before long. He's getting a bit tetchy out there. We saw him pushing and shoving with Harry Ashcroft earlier. And now a yellow card. There's still plenty of this game to go. Last thing Knights can afford to do is go down to 10 men. There's been a goal elsewhere. William Gillingham has given Port Melbourne an unlikely lead against Dandy City. As Hume City come forward now. Ocheng closed down by Tommy Semi. Yes, Port Melbourne taking the lead after just 6 minutes. So that could further complicate matters for Melbourne Knights. They're one of the other teams in the relegation zone. Currently just a point ahead of them, though on the live ladder. They would be 3 points ahead if results stay as they are. There's no goals in the other game between Oakley and Altona Magic. Still no goals here either. No, that could be about to change as Melbourne Knights work their way forward. Lettieri in behind. Lettieri this way, then that away. Lettieri! And he's denied by Camilleri. Suddenly Melbourne Knights have come alive, both on the pitch and in the stands. There's some real atmosphere now at Tomset Stadium. 57 minutes played. They've got another corner, the home team. Lettieri's been a real live wire this evening. And he's going to take the corner that he won. Carrigan's up there. Fraser, Dunlop, Karlovic. Lettieri sends it in. And at the back post, it was Inia who was wrestling, but he gave away the foul. And the opportunity goes begging for Melbourne Knights. Substitutes for both teams warming up. So it looks as though we're going to have a change of personnel before too long. It's getting to that time of the evening, 58 minutes. As Camilleri sends it straight down the middle to the forehead of Bingham, who helps it on to Harker, who helped it on towards Isgrove. The big guns getting involved for the visitors. Isgrove sends the ball in. Karlovic saw it coming. And then he bangs it long. You can sense a goal coming here. The game becoming really stretched. Here's Semi. He's trying to slide the pass through. Bramwell was after it. It's deflected away, but Knights come again. Inia from the near side. It's deflected off his captain Werndl down towards Bramwell. You can't question their effort here, Melbourne Knights. They are having a real go. Ledieri just gets a little too over-enthusiastic and gives away a foul, much to the disappointment of the home fans. They've certainly found their voice in this second half. There mightn't be a huge amount of them here, but those that have come out on this Friday night certainly making their presence felt, Adam.
That's what you love about Topset Stadium. Of course, the Knights have spent a lot of time here in the heart of Melbourne since 1989. They've called this their home ground, which has always been in the top flight of whether it's Australian or Victorian football. The next half an hour, all important. A draw, mathematically, yes, keeps them alive. Although they'll need a lot to happen elsewhere. They simply need the 3 points. They have been probing, they have been positive. Will they find reward for effort as Bramwell heads on? Inia was there. Reardon, Bingham, somehow for Harker. Now Josh Bingham. Debele out wide. Gets it under his spell. And somehow draws a corner. Tommy Semi was on defensive duties. Ochieng trots across. Ready to give a very important delivery. To try and help the visitors have a real sight on goal. Forced to a silence as Ochieng goes very high towards the back post. It's Tatafu, who's in that space. Still remains with City. They have a throw. Meanwhile, Jalen Murphy reserve. Score update to come shortly. As Bingham played hold up. Inia trying to get away. Letieri ball bouncing like it's in a pinball arcade machine. And finally out of play, but I believe, Cade, there is a goal update to have at Jalen Murphy reserve.
Yes, Dandenong City have equalised. Inaba with the equaliser there on half an hour. So they've played just over half an hour in that game and they've got 2 goals. We've gone over an hour here and we've got none. But it's not for lack of trying. Certainly the way this game is opening up as it goes on and the situation gets more desperate, you have to think there's going to be some sort of breakthrough from either team. Debele's trying to make it here for Hume, but Semi just bundles him over. The referee said he got enough of the ball. And now Jack Morgan belatedly stops play. And it's going to be a Hume free kick to Ashcroft. To watching right below us here at Tomset. Half an hour to go. That's a wonderful ball. Debele's there. And he gets it back inside the byline. Harker. Oh, the big fella almost deflected that in. Almost got his legs in a tangle as he tried to clip that ball towards goal. There's a magnificent delivery from Ochieng. A man who's sending a very different delivery into defence here now. And here's Isgrove, drifting in field. Things happen when he's on the ball. He finds O'Kane, who's been a bit quiet. Getting a start tonight, Josh O'Kane, with Burkan Kudar suspended. Hasn't had a big impact so far. Interesting to see if he stays on when Nick Hegarty decides it's time to make a change. That time mightn't be too far away. Debele now. Reardon. And it deflects out wide. Adis. That's a great corner. Bingham, oh, he's denied. Still an opportunity for Hume. DeBelle. And the crowd roars as Matai gets his arms around it. And Josh Bingham sits against the upright and thinks to himself, what do I have to do to score? Still only one goal for the season for Josh Bingham, and he won't get too many better chances to add a second than that one.
Wasn't far away, the captain. And as Cade mentioned, the roar from the Mark Viduka stand. I feel like it's packed to its capacity. The small squadron of Knights fans making so much noise. Another gleaming opportunity goes a begging. But Hume have the ascendancy right now. They've somewhat nullified the ideas the Knights have tried to make come to life. Ashcroft spots his Grove. The ball just rolling out of play. Might just glimpse what is occurring elsewhere, of course. For tonight's fixtures, Oakley and Altona still playing to a 0-0 draw. 36 minutes played in that game. Lawless. Navsevsky back for Lawless. Gets the rub of the green. And goes down. So the Knights can now set up a free kick. Novsevsky opened the door for Lawless, who went to ground. Can they find something here? This storied club simply need something. Time not a factor yet, but it's nearing that stage. Lofted high, very high. Too much in the end for Inia to try and latch onto. Camilleri was kept guessing. I'm sure the keeper for Hume was happy to see the ball just sail over the crossbar. Camilleri. It's Lettieri who got a touch onto it. Isgrove a bit undercooked. Dunlop. 41 the ball. The official hands out a yellow card. Knights fans not too receptive of such, considering the numbers they had beelining forward. Dunlop, in his attempt to try and win the ball, went in heavy, and the foul was awarded in favour of the visiting team. Ashcroft wants his centre-back partner to push up further to Tafu. Harker. O'Kane dispossessed. Bramwell going in behind for Inia, who's one-on-one with Camilleri. Is this the moment for them? The City keeper stands tall this time of asking. Inia was in behind. And the keeper was tested at the expense of a corner. It's a brilliant ball to unleash the attacker in behind. Although, nothing doing that time around.
Inia put the afterburners on there, but Camilleri stripped it wide. He's got more work to do, the Hume City keeper here. Corner from the near side. It's deep to the back post, and Ashcroft is happy to send it back over the byline for another corner, this time from the near side. They've been making plenty of noise, the Melbourne Knights supporters, in this second half. They'll blow the roof off the Mark Viduka stand if they score here. Approaching 70 minutes. If they can put their noses in front here, they might just be on course for only their 5th win of the season. Lettieri to take the corner. Not a great delivery. Semi tried to deflect it on. And it's a goal kick to Hume City. And now we're going to see some changes finally made. And it's Nick Hegarty who's making them. Maybe sensing the urgency of the situation. Melbourne Knights would probably be satisfied with a draw, certainly more than Hume City would, as Mark Otching makes way and Josh Bingham makes way. You don't see those two players substituted too often, but they will spend the last 20 minutes on the bench. And it's Joseph Ford who's come on, and Aishan Ishak. So 2 defenders coming on. So maybe a bit of preservation here for Hume City. They've certainly been under pressure in this second half. Knights really having a crack. Werndl right below us, just kept it in. And here come Hume City down the near side. A driving run. It was Adis who was clipped. He looks at the referee who tells him to get up. And Knights play on. Here's Bramwell scampering down the touchline. Ishak, who's just come on, shielding him from the ball. Now O'Kane. Lettieri's won it. And that's a bit ambitious from way out there. It was Inia who's done some good things tonight. He's also done some not so good things, and that was certainly among the latter. But he and Lettieri have certainly presented as bright sparks in otherwise dark times for Melbourne Knights. Young players who certainly have some talent, and if they do go down to VPL 1 next year, they're 2 of the guys they'll be banking on to help them get back up, as Inia goes to ground here in the area. And it was offside. Camilleri having a good game tonight. Made a crucial save moments ago to keep it 0-0. Isgrove. Ashcroft. Next week they play Melbourne Victory, Hume City. So completing those trio of relegation teams as the ball comes in from the near side. Isgrove. Well, that could have been 2 headers in a week for the little Welshman. He bundled one in last week against Port Melbourne. That one was from further out, but he put it over the top. And Knights are now going to make some substitutions. 2 players warming up on the bench for them as Semi drives it forward. It's a lovely crossfield pass out to Lettieri, who controlled it well. And he goes looking for Renala, but the flag is up. And that will allow these 2 substitutions to be made with just over 15 minutes of normal time remaining. It's going to be the Japanese, Chiba Masatao, comes on. Fraser Dunlop makes way for him. I'll try and find the identity of the other player who entered the fray for Melbourne Knights, but both teams now with 2 substitutions. And it's Emmanuel Walder-Georges who's come on. Apologies if I haven't got that name correct. It is a bit of a mouthful. But he has come on for Melbourne Knights. Could he be the hero? They're certainly in with a shout here. They might be bottom of the table, but they're not playing like it, at least in this second half. They're currently holding the sixth-placed Hume City goalless. As we enter the final 15 minutes or so, Semi chested down and tried to dance around his opponent there in Ford, who's just come on, but the substitute managed to see it out of play, and it's a goal kick for Melbourne Knights. Could they have something to say in these last 15 minutes? It would be quite some moment if they can find a goal here, the home side.
They've got the arsenal to do so. And you feel as if it's all there for Tommy Semi. What a fitting return it would be. In here, ball stays alive somehow. Ashcroft thought about the keeper. Took it down the line instead. Ford flicks on. DeBelle. Carrigan had to commit and done so. Semi. Deftest of touches. Bramwell tussling with O'Kane. Knights throw. Lawless instructing that of Tommy Semi to get higher up the pitch. Wernzel not sure. Carrigan. Jovsevski. Here is Chiba. First touches for the substitute. Trying to combine with all the Georges. Chiba takes a slip. Here's Grove now. DeBelle in some space. So here's Grove's gone towards. DeBelle has the afterburners, but not the cavalry. Harker's inside the box. DeBelle holding things up. Ford. Well crafted from DeBelle. Cross comes in with shape. Head of the way by Karlovic. O'Kane for Addis. It's been a bit quiet recently. Isgrove. Crosses in with shape. Harker's header. Cushioned for Marty. In terms of a score update, Oakley have hit the front on the cusp of half-time against the Magic. Right on the stroke of half-time, it was that of Boyce who found the opening goal. Now, of course, that favours the three sides below them, especially the Knights. Barragan, searching ball. Chiba trying to latch on. Made a contest of it. It's a real sense of belief. Just swayed in favour of the hosts right now. Carrigan. Happy to go back to the keeper. Marty. Karlovic. This pass is cut off by O'Kane, although it was rushed perhaps from Jovsevski. And Bramwell concedes a foul upon out of Ford. So Hume look as if they've changed the shape again. As Ashcroft searches long. Addis. Not able to infiltrate. But has a throw in. Here's Grove. Reverse pass for Harker, who lets it roll for Isgrove. And Hume City have hit the front. Who else in this fixture other than Lloyd Isgrove And it's the visitors who break the deadlock. It was supreme hold-up play, capped off by one of their talisman. Very precise attacking football there, Cade.
And a second goal in a week for Lloyd Isgrove, his 7th of the season. And it's a crucial one. Gives Hume a bit more breathing space over Dandy City in the fight for 6th spot. Dandy City currently drawing with Port Melbourne. And it sends Melbourne Knights ever closer to the drop. That's, of course, if the score does stand. About 10 minutes to play. As that's a foul just outside the area for Melbourne Knights. Have they got a rearguard action in them? It's been one of their best efforts for a number of weeks tonight. But at the moment, it's all going to come to naught. Unless they can find something here. It's Inia who's got the free kick. He's in pretty inviting territory. There's a 4-man wall in front of him. And it looks like Inia is going to have a ping. We've crossed 80 minutes. The team last on the table are a goal down. Can Atta Inia give them the slenderest of lifelines? It is Inia. And that was always going well over the top. Melbourne Knights next week. They play Dandenong City. So this game is in the middle of a Dandy double. They played Thunder last week and City next week. Whilst, as I mentioned earlier, Hume City play the last of the 3 relegation teams. They play Melbourne Victory, having defeated Port Melbourne last week and now looking on course to do the same to Melbourne Knights here tonight. As Matty comes out to deal with a bouncing ball and DeBelle following up. Oh, he very nearly finished it for good there. And no one is more relieved inside Tomset Stadium than Gabriel Matai, who came out to meet that. He was outside his area. He couldn't get his hands on it. And DeBelle, quick thinking, almost hooked it inside the upright.
Semi's touch a bit pedestrian. And they're nearing the stage of being perfect now, the Knights. They need 2 quick goals, of course, 1 to draw. But a win's what they're after as Inia strolls inside the box. Marco Solo! AJ Inia says the Knights are here to play. A quick-fire response. And this game has come to life again out of a solo effort off the highest shelf. AJ Inia took the game upon himself. And once he was in behind that of his marker, was confronted with the opportunity, which he took with 2 hands. It's 1 apiece at Tomset Stadium.
Well, we waited 80 minutes for a goal, and we've got 2 in the space of 2 minutes. And Tomset Stadium is bouncing now. You wouldn't know Melbourne Knights are on the brink of relegation given the atmosphere in here, nor would you given the way they're playing. As Semi is brought down rather cynically, and Ford, who isn't long on the pitch, is going to go in the book. Buckle up, folks. This is going to be a rollicking last 7 or 8 minutes or so. Cade Lucas and Adam Palombi here with you on YouTube. It is 1-1 between Melbourne Knights and Hume City. Isgrove on 79 minutes. And Atta Inia replying 3 minutes later with a brilliant goal. As Tommy Semi gets up and limps away. He's certainly put in a shift tonight, the big Papua New Guinean. Jochevsky lofts it in. Could they go in front here, Knights? Comes back towards Lechevsky, who nearly crashes into Lawless. That, for a moment, looked like it could have been a nasty collision. Shades of Jason Gillespie and Steve Waugh in the outfield for Australia all those years ago. Thankfully, it wasn't that sort of outcome. That's the last thing Melbourne Knights need. But listen to their supporters. They might be down, but they are not out, Melbourne Knights. They've got defending to do here as Isgrove goes through the middle to DeBelle. Good save by Matai, and then off the line, Carrigan. And they celebrate that like a goal. Ben Carrigan got his big toe to it and just kept Godfrey DeBelle out. And now it's a corner that Melbourne Knights have to defend. And the Knights faithful have found their voice. Songs reverberating around Tomset. 85 minutes gone. In comes the corner. Matai's come out. He's spilt it. But they mop up here, Knights, and now they go on the break. And the crowd urging them on. It's Carrigan who saved that last goal. Now he sends it up towards Bramwell. It bounces over his head. It bounces nicely for him. Bramwell goes down. Now Wojciechowski, the young fella, out to Semi. Tommy Semi. The shot is blocked. And Hume City breathe easy. You suspect there's more goals in this. Stay with us on YouTube. This is a cracking finish. Here comes Chiba now, the Japanese. Wojciechowski, the substitutes getting involved. Inia's ball is a bit disappointing. It comes back to him. Inia. He's scored one, but he can't add a second there. This game is completely metamorphosized in the last few minutes. I don't know if I've made up a word there, Adam, but it is a starkly different contest to what we saw for the best part of an hour and a half.
It's really come to its boil. As Darcy, the big striker, is known to make noise off the pitch, but he has to make some on it tonight. On comes Anastovsky. Can he have a moment? Inia. What a goal it was he scored. For Semi. That'll work. The bounce favours Chiba just. What can he find here? Lawless, what's the idea? Pressing upon Ishak, the Irishman. Will the Georges takes possession, crosses in, bouncing ball. Camilleri wasn't too sure. Flicks away from Bramwell. Now it's Hume's turn to go A1 direct. Flicked on by Harker for Isgrove. Flag stays down. Isolated the Welshman. He comes in. Karlovic does just enough to unbalance Isgrove. Out for Marty's goal kick. And you just feel, Cade, a grandstand finish is on the cards here. Chiba. Searching ball forward. Any of the idea. Camilleri uses the full width of his box. Considering Hume need 3 points, as much as the Knights do, you almost expect both sides to say, well, let's have it. Stand in the middle of the ring and just swing. That's what we've seen so far in the last 5 or so minutes. Harker gets it back. But he's out of legs. Bramwell over the top. And now Semi stepping inside. Can he get his shot away? Ashcroft with a big slide. Will to Georges. Thought about striking. Deflecting shot. And Astovsky keeps it in. Across the face of goal. Will to Georges can hit it. He takes a touch. O'Kane hasn't escaped. This contest, heart in mouth stuff. Semi. The crowd up on their feet. Goes for goal, Semi. The side of the net ripples. A momentary pause. Camilleri wants this to continue on with Isgrove. It's 3 against 3 at the other end. Strolling forward, Chiba had to make a tactical foul. Into the book goes the substitute. And Cade, Hume are going to try throw some substitutes on here of their own, considering we're 30 seconds away from regulation time being done. Harker, upon that last attack, was out of gas. You wonder what changes they might make here.
We'll have to wait and find out. But this is about as high stakes as it gets. Melbourne Knights literally fighting for their NPL life. Might have been able to question their effort and commitment on other occasions this season, not tonight. Marian Sivkovic has certainly coaxed a real shift out of his players here and then some. Could they yet scramble a win? Bit of a delay as Hume make the changes, and it's Harker who's off. Tough night at the office for him. Oliver Kellart comes on, and it looks like it's Ford, the second half substitute, is substituted himself. You don't see that too often. He did get a yellow card, Joseph Ford. So he is off, and Mehmet Yisal comes on for him. So they've got one more change up their sleeve. Here's the free kick. Can they finish it, Hume? It's flicked on. It was Ishak who glanced that header towards goal. 5 minutes of stoppage time. More than enough time for either side to settle this suddenly thrilling contest. It was a bit of a snore fest for the best part of 80 minutes. How it has come alive. Hope you can stay with us for what could be a mighty finish as Chiba sees it out of play. It's half-time elsewhere. Oakley 1-0 up over Altona. 1-1 between Port Melbourne and Dandenong City. Here's O'Kane. Can he finish it for Hume? Up towards Isgrove. DeBelle. Matai with the save. Oh, he's grown in stature as this game has progressed. Matai, a couple of huge saves in this second half. Yisal. And it falls here for Lawless, who's got space ahead. Up towards Semi. Not much you could do there, Tommy Semi. DeBelle holding it up, but only to the advantage of Lawless. There's nobody home for Knights on this occasion, though. 2 minutes of the 5 minutes of added time already gone. Remember, a point is still enough to technically keep Melbourne Knights alive. In all likelihood, they're as good as down, but they are still fighting as Woda Georges, again, just shows the callousness of youth, sending that ball over the top and out of play when something more simple probably would have sufficed. He had a chance to have a shot earlier on to maybe put Melbourne Knights in front, and he took an extra touch, and his decision-making let him down again there.
Overzealous perhaps the youngster got, and you can't blame him in situations like these. Werndl deflecting ball to Tafu, heads on. Isial shifting gears, the substitute, strolling inside the box. The cutback, not going to find DeBelle. Karlovic, not as far as to Tafu. He flicks it on. Nobody for Hume was onside. For 72 years, they've held themselves in the highest possible Victorian competition. The Knights need a moment of folklore here. Marty's gone long. Wilder Georges trying to flick for Lawless. O'Kane. Lawless wins the ball. Cuts it back. Wilder Georges stepping inside. Chiba along the deck. Semi getting the way of the ball from Inia. Carrigan on for Bramwell. And Ostovsky inside the box. It comes in. Ashcroft clears. Carrigan for Bramwell. Lofting it. Werndl at the back posts. Camilleri wants to take the game. His kick will deflect. DeBelle. Reardon sends it long. Both sides. It's too late for composure. It's all systems go. The entire Knights bench is up on their feet. Meanwhile, bit of confusion at the back, and Lawless nearly had the opportunity. Camilleri, great goalkeeping. Isgrove, 4 against 4. Keelat was there perhaps for the pass. Isgrove shifting gears to keep the ball going. Can't step beyond Wilder Georges, who's strong. Cleart. Now Addis can queue up in the middle. Semi goes down. O'Kane with the foul. It's got the makings to really boil over. But you feel this will be the last play. Jack Morgan with a look towards his watch. Marty sending everybody forward. That was Hume's last roll of the dice, you assume. But it will also be the last roll of the dice for the Knights. As the full-time whistle sounds, judging by the body language of the valiant hosts, you almost feel as if that relegation might all but be conceded. Although they're not mathematically at the competition yet, Cade Lucas, the body language tells a different story.
That's the reaction of a team that's gone down. They look absolutely devastated. They gave it everything, Melbourne Knights. You've got to admire that effort. You have to wonder, though, where it was earlier in the season. A famous, proud football club. Yes, they technically are still alive, but the players' reaction there says it all. Hume City will be disappointed with that. Though the fact that Dandenong City are only drawing is probably some comfort for them. But Melbourne Knights, their last bit of hope has just been snuffed out. But it was a mighty effort, Adam. A pretty extraordinary night of the football after what was a pretty humdrum game for 80-odd minutes. A thrilling last 10 minutes, and we've finished with a draw.
Well, we have, and considering the Knights 30 years ago were the pinnacle of football across Australia, having lifted the NSL. Now in 2025, although not confirmed yet, the results they need to happen outside of here are not going in their favour. Full time at Topset Stadium. It's out of the Knights' hands now. A 1-1 draw with Hume City has that to be the case. Cade Lucas and Adam Palmby signing off. We appreciate you joining us for this round 24 clash. And until next time, keep enjoying the NPL men's and women's competitions. Thank you and have a nice night.